So we do have kind of a slight update on David. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Okay. So the police executed a search warrant on a $20K per month Hollywood home that David was renting. Okay. They supposedly pulled computers. They pulled electronic devices, and we're not too sure if they pulled maybe some clothes or maybe even examined the scene to see if there was signs of possible a murder. Now, we all know if there's been blood, like you guys watch TV shows, and it is kind of a little bit true to how real life is. If you murder somebody in your kitchen, yeah, you could try to clean it for a long time, but like if forensic specialists come through there, they could usually determine that there was a crime scene there. It's pretty hard to clean up a murder scene, okay? So they executed a search warrant. They grabbed a bunch of stuff, and they, dipped. By the way, they haven't listed this guy, David, as a suspect yet. Not even now, they haven't listed this guy as a suspect. They haven't even said he's a person of interest. They are just saying that they are investigating. Now, there's a lot of things that point to him as being a person of interest. Why? The parents said the parent seemingly doesn't know him, but they said that they knew their daughter, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, had a boyfriend named David. His name is David. They had matching tattoos saying shh. Obviously, that's a tattoo that other people supposedly have, Lindsay Lohan and also Rihanna, but they had it together. Now, keep in mind, this young child was 15 years old, I believe. 15? Was it 15 or maybe 14? When she disappeared. And the rumor was that he started dating her or being involved with her when she was 11. Now, how old is he? I believe he's 20 now. So when she was like 11 or whatever she was, he was, I believe, 17. And again, point blank period, shit's creepy. Right? Now, I showed you guys like even a documentary from Spotify a year ago, which, I was wondering, like, not that we need motive for this type of stuff, but like wondering what's up with this guy. Apparently he went from public school to being homeschooled, and he felt that he lost his friends. I personally believe that he then started focusing online, and he took his, distancing from friends in real life to try to befriend and kind of have a social life online. That also led to him dating online. Now, did that lead him to try to date a 12-year-old? No, he's clearly fucking, yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's now being reported that after the police executed a search warrant, they said he broke the lease on his Hollywood Hills home amid an investigation into the dismembered body of a missing teenager found in a car registered to his name. The lease on the news on the lease comes nearly after a week where his home was raided by the Los Angeles Homicide Department, right? And they said that they were looking for blood evidence. So it looks like the police at least have some theory, or they're hoping that maybe they could have found a crime scene because they were looking for blood evidence. Now, keep in mind, YNW Melly, and again, we love him. We're hoping he's innocent. But police analyzed that crime scene on a forensic level where they knew exactly where the shots came from. They said it came from the left passenger side in the back. It went through there. And they know even when the dudes got shot, when they were trying to stage a drive-by, they got shot when it was already post-mortem, which means they're already dead. There was so much ballistic, forensic, blood, and everything else evidence that the police used to determine that they felt YNW Melly did the killing. I'm wondering why some of these things haven't came out yet. For example, I'm wondering why they haven't confirmed, like, if it's in his car. Granted, his DNA would probably be in his own car, but maybe a fingerprint, maybe whatever. That's what we're waiting on now. So before I get to this, apparently he left the home, okay? They're claiming that, and they were checking for drains for blood evidence or blood tissue that was still in the drain, so they were scouring his house looking for evidence. And they're saying, police told TMZ that the home was about a block and a half from where the Tesla was parked. So it kind of made sense when they think that the home is where the murder happened, right? Somehow he murdered her, put her in the car, and drove it like 2 blocks and just left the car there. Yeah, this says several items of evidence was recovered and will be analyzed by detectives in the coming days. There's an ongoing investigation, and they're following up on certain leads. Okay, he's pretty much canceled his tour. He's not performing anymore, and looks like he's working with his attorneys to either assist the cops or prepared to turn himself into the cops. Okay, all right. Okay. Now let me look at this. We do have a timeline that I want to get to, so just give me a little bit of grace with that. But give me a second.
And decomposing teenage girl was found by police in the trunk, or should I say frunk, the front trunk, legally speaking. That said, here are some of the bizarre coincidences that you cannot ignore in this murder case. This murdered teenager and the up-and-coming singer both have the same tattoos on their right index fingers, reading, shh. To be fair, it is a popular tattoo, SHHH, far from unique. But Celeste's mother says that her daughter was dating somebody named David when she went missing. And yes, David is a common name. I get it. Then there's the photo. A photo of David, the singer, in Celeste's neighborhood, not far from her house, minutes actually walking, right before she disappeared. And should I say that Celeste's house is like over an hour away from where David was living, so not likely just to be there for no.
Okay. Let me play this actual video, and then I think this is the same video, huh? Yeah, this is the same video. I just want to give you guys a timeline, but apparently his manager and a few other people, which if I was his manager, I'd be fucking shook to be helping him because I want to be charged with accessory for murder. You get what I'm saying? Here we go. Here's a quick timeline.
Tonight you're going to meet him. He's going to tell you about what he's doing to fight back against these.
Okay, I'm speeding it up a little bit.
Evidence were recovered and will be analyzed.
Okay.
Drunk. 13 years old. 13. In April of that year, David had just turned 19. Wow. He's now 20. And in a moment, I am going to get to why age matters so much in this mystery. But first, a vigil was held yesterday for Celeste in her hometown of Lake Elsinore, about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Her brother Matthew says on the day she disappeared, she was on her way to see a movie with her boyfriend, whose name was, you guessed it, say it with me, David. Before I go on, you should know this. There is no definitive proof at this point that the David Celeste was dating is the singer of the same name.
Clearly.
Nor is there concrete proof that a girl named Celeste, that the singer appears to know, is in fact the dead teenager named Celeste. But as I said days ago, police really hate coincidences. And tonight we know these coincidences were on full view as far back as October of 2022, oh, wow, when Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 12. Let me repeat, 12 years old.
Wow.
At that time, David, the singer, was 17 and taking part in a group chat with his fans on Discord. And in the chat, he wrote, "Celeste in here?" To which someone named Celeste replied, "Hi, David, bark." The two seemed familiar with each other, which means if this really was Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the chat, whose birthday was September 7th, they may have actually connected when she was only 11. Fast forward, December 2023, a demo of a love song by David leaks out online, and the name of the demo song is Celeste. Days later, on January 11th, 2024, David appears on a live stream with a girl who looks an awful lot like Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The girl tells him, "We need to delete this." David tells the moderators, quote, "Mods, can we delete all vids? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?" The following month, February 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez goes missing for the first time before returning home. February 26, 2024.
How does the parents let a 13-year-old or 12-year-old, I guess at the time, if you have a 12-year-old daughter, how you let that person go missing?
David posts something on TikTok and another user comments, and I quote, "Waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl." A month later, March 28th, 2024, David's fans discuss rumors that he's dating someone, and one of the fans writes, "Yeah, her name is Celeste." April 5th, 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez is reported missing. Her brother says she was going to the movies that day with someone named David. Almost 3 months later, June 27th, 2024, David reposts a TikTok video of someone chopping up meat. The caption reads, quote, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." Skip ahead to February 2025. The music video for David's song, One More Dance, is released, and it features a body being dragged and put into the trunk of a car. David plays both the killer and the victim in the video. 1 month later, March 2025, David releases his Withered album. 5 months later, August 5th, 2025, David starts his world tour. And 1 month later, on September 3rd, 2025, neighbors in the Hollywood Hills, near to where David had been staying, noticed the singer's Tesla abandoned on the side of the road. 3 days later, September 6th, the car is towed to an impound lot. The very next day, September 7th, is Celeste's 15th birthday. But one day after that, September 8th, workers at the impound lot call police because of a terrible stench coming from the Tesla that had just been towed there. Police open the trunk and discover the badly decomposed remains of Celeste Riva Hernandez. She's wrapped in plastic. This Celeste has the same tattoo on her right index finger as the singer David does. It reads, "Shh." Now, much of what we have known about this case for 2 weeks, and many of the facts in that timeline, they were first reported by TMZ, who have been digging on this case every single day. And earlier, I caught up with TMZ's executive producer, Charles Adibodiar. Here's our conversation about the case. I'm always curious when it comes to a vigil for someone who is a victim of a violent end. And for all we know, I don't know how Celeste died, but she was certainly treated horrendously in death. I always wonder if the killers show up at the vigils. Did you see or do you know of any evidence of police who were at that vigil, or maybe even undercover officers just watching to see who showed up?
There were police officers there, but as far as a presence that made you think they were watching, there wasn't anything obvious that I saw in the video, but they could have been there. And we know that that is an MO, that's not just something you see in movies and stuff. Like, it really does happen. So,
Scott Peterson.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the police detectives, I'm sure, I would think, are aware of that, and that maybe they did have people there. I mean, that's a really good point, actually, and maybe they did.
It is surprising me that this guy's not in custody. Like, think about Lil Durk. Lil Durk is in custody for probably lesser coincidences, okay? And obviously you could say, well, Durk supposedly was trying to run. He was booking flights out of the country. Okay. Maybe this guy is somehow reassured the police, maybe through his lawyers, or maybe he already talked to them. Hey, I'm not going to go anywhere. But he's not in custody. It's interesting.
But again, there's been not only no arrest, there's no named person of interest. And
also, one of the reasons I'm shocked, homie black. He's a dark skin. That's him over here, and that's the girl. He's dark skinned, and she is obviously Hispanic.
No named suspect, which doesn't mean the police don't have a suspect.
Right.
This means they're
Close
not.
to the vest.
Yeah, they're just not willing to share it with us yet.
I'm looking at other things, and so are people online, and I know TMZ is as well. His posts are really starting to stand out. Like, he reposted someone who was cutting up meat and said, quote, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes." Now, he didn't write that, but he reposted it from someone else, and it clearly shows he would either cut up the person the girl was talking to, or he cut up the girl. That was sent before, obviously, Celeste was found murdered. But then there's another one of him washing his sneakers that she'd been photographed in. These are all, again, by themselves, not much. Together, they're forming a picture.
Yeah, you know, we're talking today about the lyrics, and, you know, we've talked about romantic homicide, and those images that you're just talking about all sort of paint an image of an artist, right? Like, clearly, the best case scenario, you could look at that and say, this is just an image, a very macabre image he wanted to have out there for himself as an artist. But in light of what has happened now, it's impossible to not look at those things through a different lens. Now, that's maybe unfair to him as far as legally speaking, because, again, he's not a suspect. But when his car, at the very least, we can say his car is connected to this crime. And now you start looking at all these things. It's hard not to look at it and go, what's going on there?
It's uncomfortable. I mean, not only that, Charles, you know, he is apparently, you know, he'd been selling these blood-spattered T-shirts.
Blood-splattered shirts, yeah.
Yeah, the casket on the stage, part of the act.
That's the most confusing part of this whole thing. Because if you do this thing and you seemingly want to get away with it, why not try to act normal? You ever seen somebody do some guilty shit and be like, act normal, act normal? Like, this thing was acting guilty. It's almost like maybe he knew about it, but he's not the one who did it. That's why he felt comfortable like this. Or maybe he did it and he was so guilt-ridden, he was like, just catch me already.
Then there's music video with a body being put.
Or perhaps he felt like, oh, I already got away with this. Like, they'll never connect it to me. Fuck it. I could kind of use this as content to my music.
Into a trunk. Again, none of it would stand up in a court of law, but looking at all of these things together, it does give you a picture of somebody whose mind works a little differently.
It definitely works a little differently, but on the other hand, you would say, I'm sure his attorney would say to you, that's his art, right? And you can't prosecute someone or arrest someone based on their art.
It's true. He hasn't been accused of anything. He hasn't been named as a person of interest in this particular case. It just happens to be that it's his car where the body was found, and it's his home that they raided, and that tells us a lot. Like, even when Diddy was in limbo, we talked about the fact that they raided 2 of Diddy's homes. I think an arrest might be imminent, and what do you know? I do want to ask you, though, about the sales of his records and the streams. None of this has affected him in a bad way.
No, I mean, as far as his music career goes, it sounds really weird and macabre to say, but it's helped. It has helped make
his
David.
streams is going up. All right, let me just look at this last update right here, and then we're gonna move past this.
Wearing a black tube top. Here, she's wearing a black tube top.
Okay, here we go.
Killed sometime earlier in August.
Can we get a freeze frame there?
Yeah.
In figuring out what happened to Celeste Rivas and when she was killed, because we thought that it may have been way back in early August. Not so.
Well, we now know,
at least if
this video of Celeste at a David concert in Maryland, the date is really critical here. And you're going to see her. She's, we believe, and again, this has not been confirmed by people in her close to her yet, but the woman on the balcony.
Oh, wow.
And again, this has not been confirmed by people in her close to her yet, but the woman on the balcony looking down there certainly looks a lot like Celeste Rivas. And if it is her, it closes the window of time.
Damn, a fucking 15-year-old.
Where she could have.
No. Actually, she was 13. Is it 13 or 14? I can't remember the ages. She's like 13 when she died.
Could have been killed.
Can we get a freeze frame there?
Yeah, we have a close-up that shows you what this woman looks like. And
so this was either August 23rd or August 24th. He had 2 concerts, both of which were sold out. So it was one of those 2 days. But this is about a week and a half before her body was found in the trunk of David's Tesla in the Hollywood Hills. A week and a half. That's a big deal.
And it's a big deal also because the police said that the body was had been.
Wait.
The police said that the body.
Wait.
Half before her body was there.
Yeah, we have a close-up that shows you what this woman looks like. And
so this was either August 23rd or August 24th. He had 2 concerts.
So wait, she got killed. Oh, I thought she was missing for a year. Why does this story get a little weirder every time? I thought she was missing for a year.
Both of which were sold out. So it was one of those 2 days. But this is about a week and a half before her body was found in the trunk of David's Tesla in the Hollywood Hills. A week and a half. That's a big deal.
And it's a big deal also because the police said that the body was had been
badly
decomposed, which is what made us think that perhaps she was killed sometime earlier in August.
Now let's go back to the still, because she's wearing
a black tube top.
A black tube top, and she had been seen in black tube tops before.
Well, no, the medical examiner, when they released the original findings, when they hadn't identified her yet, when they talked about the tattoo, they also said she was wearing a black tube top. Like her body.
The body where she was, when she was found, she was wearing a black tube top. Here, she's wearing a black tube top. That's
okay. So it's probably he might have killed her in August.
At the very least, fascinating and maybe really relevant in figuring out because we were wondering how are they going to figure out, because there were body parts. She was so badly decomposed they couldn't even identify whether it was a female or a male, and had no idea who it.
Chat, what is the likelihood that what is the likelihood that the manager helped? I found it odd that the manager was helping him move out of this new place. But maybe his manager's like still just trying to keep his check. I don't think this is a one-man job. Now, maybe the killing is a one-man job. I think trying to dispose of the body is not a one-man job.
It was. And so now, we're starting to close that window.
So if this is Celeste in this video, which is what a lot of people online are thinking, that doesn't really add up with the badly decomposed victim, right?
Well, here's the thing, though. Oh, no,
well,
let me tell you why
it
was hot
That's
in
exactly
LA.
what I was going to say.
And
even if you're there for a week,
exactly
in that heat, in that car, right?
That it could
a black car,
it
right.
could do that. And again, she was cut up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, again, no suspects named by police. We don't know if they have one, but they haven't named one.
I think we're going to get some more information soon, because they did yesterday. We confirmed they released the body back to the family, which to me means, I know obviously the medical examiner is doing all these tests.
They've done whatever they can do.
They've done whatever they can do.
Now, I hate to get graphic here, people, but when we hear dismembered, I'm thinking a few things. Dismembered to me means the head is gone, arms chopped off, limbs gone, maybe the torso without something, which even then, it's confusing to me, because if you start chopping off heads, legs, fingers, toes, foot, why leave them all together in a bag? Why not take a hand on some? You ever watch Dexter? Put the hand over there. Put the head over there. Like, if you're trying to get away with, why chop the person up and leave them all together in a bag? Do you get what I'm saying? Why chop the person up, period, if you're not trying to do more to get away with it? Some of this stuff is odd.
And now it's essentially,
because the word dismembered, what that tells me is that it's not the nature of the killing. Like, for example, if her throat was cut, right? And I'm sorry to explain like graphic details, because like shit, like nobody was thinking about a fucking 13-year-old getting killed. But if her throat was cut and that was the cause of death, you wouldn't say her body was dismembered. Dismembered kind of alludes to removing body parts that could be in addition to the cause of death, but it feels like a deliberate attempt to try to separate the body from not being in its original form, right?
a waiting game until they release the actual report, and hopefully they'll have the cause of death, maybe a better timeline of when she actually passed away. And obviously cops aren't even still calling this a homicide investigation yet, because they have to determine that she was actually killed.
Now,
by someone.
some more information that we turned up. Celeste had run away many times. Our law enforcement sources say that this was as they put it, troubled home.
Right.
And the police are looking at that because it seemed, we told you before that she ran away in January of 2024. They found her in February, the next month, in Hollywood.
The police found her.
Now, what's also interesting here is that looking up, I just do a Google search for David Manager. They're saying outside of this home, so this is a home he's renting for $20,000. Again, I know I've never heard of this guy before, but this guy was like a big deal. He has 34 million monthly listeners now, more than Lil Baby, more than Gunna, more than all them niggas, more than Thug, more than all you niggas you like, for the most part. But it shows that, people listen to his music. And by the way, this is before, this kind of like really erupted in the media. He was paying $20,000 a month for this place. And they're saying that there were cameras. Look, cameras here. Cameras here. They're saying that you can't go into this house. And this is a house that they supposedly raided, right? So I'm guessing they got to grab like surveillance shit, right? They say you can't go into it or out of it undetected. Now, here's the thing. This is going to be interesting. If this guy was trying to get away with it, which is going to be, that's like a conundrum in itself. Because if you're trying to get away with it, you don't dismember the body, make it identifiable, leave it in a bag in the front of a car registered to you, and park it a block and a half from the crib. You don't do that, right? Not if you're trying to get away with it. So, part of this kind of sounds like either a hatch job, or maybe they were rushed, or block got too hot real quick, so you had to just do some crazy shit and, But if she's been missing for like damn near a month, right? I'm pretty sure these probably go to some type of DVR. They probably could have deleted it. Yo, let's replace the DVR. That's what happened in the Big U case with the murder they're accusing him of. They're saying that Big U ordered that the DVR get destroyed. So we'll read this real quick. Hollywood Hills, a home rented by him, has a security system and external cameras that captures everything going in and out. Now, here's the thing about the security system. Usually if you're renting a house, like if I had a house and people were renting it, and I had a security system for especially the external parts of the house, I wouldn't have the tenants, the people who I'm renting it to, have access to either the cloud storage or the storage locally of said camera, because suppose they want to do some fuck shit. So I would be the only one with access, but I have to imagine maybe something was done to disturb it, because if I think he would be in cuffs if they have him walking inside that house with her and she never walking out. Maiden Trevoznik owns the home. The place had been searched by the cops in the death investigation of Celeste Rivas. And he says he had a security company install the cameras outside the home years before Josh Marshall signed a lease in February 2024 for $20,000 a month. Josh Marshall is the manager. I think the cops are going to be looking at him too. By the way, he's the one who helped David move out recently. The homeowner says the cameras are positioned at entry points. The key elements that the cops are looking at the point, possibility that she was killed in the home. They said that he doesn't have access to the footage. What? He says he doesn't want his tenants to think he's spying on them. When tenants move in, he gives them the info for the security company. They create their own account to access the cameras. Maybe the security company has the footage then. The landlord says LAPD has not told him anything about the investigation or if the cops have obtained the security footage at all. But he doesn't see why the police wouldn't get their hands on the video. He seemed to be living there. He says he spoke to David's manager, Josh, last week, and they both agreed, this is the landlord speaking, to break the lease and that his stuff would be moved out by the end of the week. Interesting.
Brought her back to.
But they found her in Hollywood.
Yes, found her in Hollywood.
And that's relevant because David had been, David lives in Hollywood. And then they brought her back to her home.
Right. And then she ran away again in, we believe, April. April and May is when you start to see the posters that went up again looking for this missing young girl.
But it seems like she's had a history of this because
We were trying to see if your cameras got her leaving.
And they didn't.
And he did. He looked back at his cameras.
But you didn't see it.
No, he saw her.
No, he did.
Yeah,
I thought I didn't
no,
see
he
her.
saw
No,
her
he
on
did
her
see her.
camera going down the street at around 7 a.m. in the morning, and then walking across the street.
Wait, what?
19th of 2024. Her sister.
April and May is when you start to see the posters that went up again looking for this missing young girl.
But it seems like she's had a history of this because you talked to.
Well, they're saying last seen in 2020. This is why it's confusing. It says last seen April 2024, but then we're hearing that she was seen. Not April. but
Liquor store
She was seen August 2025. What?
owner.
Yeah, so there's a liquor store owner who's at the end of the of Celeste block where she lives in Lake Elsinore, and he knows all the kids in the neighborhood because the bus stop to go to school is right in front of his liquor store. So he had said in March, it was March 19th of 2024, her sister actually came into his liquor store and they were looking for her and essentially said, we were trying to see if your cameras got her leaving.
And they didn't.
And he did. He looked back at his cameras.
But you didn't see it.
No, he saw her.
No, he did see it.
Yeah, he
I thought
saw.
I didn't
No,
see
he
it.
saw
No,
her
he
on
did
her
see
camera going down the street at around 7 a.m. in the morning, and then walking across the street. His camera, it was too far away, but he said it looked like she was getting into a vehicle. He couldn't tell what type of vehicle or who was in the car, but it seems that then she came back again, and then they put
Right.
the missing poster again, where they was again in April. So this seems like one
So
of the
it seems
times.
like early.
Oh, so she kept running away. So this poster is from one of the times she ran away, and they made a poster.
2024, she
Yes.
went.
It seems, when she started
When
to
she
run away and go to
right.
Hollywood and met him.
Yeah, early 2024.
Are a little bit older than her to get into these venues or bars
Right.
or whatever. You would have to be of a certain age.
Right.
So that kind of makes sense.
This is Kim.
So maybe she even had a fake ID. Wow. Okay. Interesting. We're gonna keep an eye on this case. This is very interesting. Dismembering a body. That's some Dexter shit, huh? Chat. I'm gonna bring in this topic.